Look at this.
How many of you are U.S. citizens? How many of you support Donald Trump? You're undocumented and you support Donald Trump.
I support Donald Trump for the economy.
Two Hispanic families with mixed legal status in Houston with two different takes on President-elect Donald Trump's return to the White House.
One thing that people on the left have had a difficult time understanding is that people don't necessarily vote in the interest of the blocs that they belong to. Like, obviously. How often do poor people vote for Republicans? You know? For a lot of undocumented Latin people, they come up here to America, you know, and then they're outside, they're like out the front of Home Depot looking for a job, you know, and like 2 decades ago, it was just like Mexican guys out there with a white truck. And now there are Latin and Central American, like from every country spread out all over there. They don't get along with each other. Like, do you think that a person from Colombia, Venezuela, El Salvador, Haiti, and Mexico are all going to get along just because they're because they're all like southeast-ish of the United States? Probably not. In fact, they often have stronger regional disagreements with one another than we have with them. Much in the same way that, like, as an American, most Americans can't tell the difference between people who are from different Balkan states. Like, they couldn't tell the difference between a Serb and Albanian. But then, like, you know, we're like, why are these Serbian Albanian immigrants fighting with each other? They're all like, you know, they're all like Russians, basically. And meanwhile, they're tearing each other's throats out. One of the big pulls for a lot of the undocumented immigrants who support Trump is that they don't like more undocumented immigrants coming in and taking their work. Because undocumented immigrants, or I guess immigrants in general, are the only group whose wages are negatively impacted by new immigration. So if people come up here from Mexico, they're not reducing your wages. They are reducing each other's wages because they're all brought into basically like the same economic bloc. They have the same job opportunities, more or less. So they're fighting with each other, you know? I'm not competing with a guy who walked up here from Venezuela for a job, you know, but a guy who walked up here from Colombia might be.
This is the Espinosa's first gathering since Trump's win.
How many of you fear that deportation could impact your family?
Cesar Espinosa, a husband and father, was a DACA recipient until this summer when he got a green card.
Nice.
His sister and brother-in-law are DACA recipients. His
Very
sister-in-law is a green
lens
card
we're
holder,
using for this.
and the rest of his family here are U.S. citizens.
Looks like a 1990s
Some who are not
sitcom
present
intro.
are undocumented.
You're a green card holder. Your wife is a U.S. citizen. Why are you afraid of deportation?
I just became a green card holder after 33 years of being in this country. I don't think people understand the fear. It's a constant shadow hanging over our heads.
What was your reaction to Donald Trump winning?
I cried a lot. It was emotional.
33 years for a green card,
like,
not even for a
they're
citizenship.
Going to be here or they're not going to be here, and how do you tell all of our kids? Like my nephews, they're also our kids.
To tell people that this doesn't live in kids and children's mind and teenagers and young adults' life is a lie.
Gelacio Velasquez is an undocumented mechanic who has worked in Houston for 25 years. He plays in this park with his two U.S. citizen children, ages 5 and 9, and stands by Donald Trump.
That's pretty true.
You support Donald Trump because of the economy.
For the economy, yes.
But you don't support the anti-immigrant rhetoric.
I'm not support the anti-immigrant action.
Do you support his mass deportations?
No, it's not human.
Are you afraid that you could be deported in this mass deportation?
I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid.
That's cool,
Espinosa runs a migrant advocacy group and says many people are afraid and have called him in tears.
I think there's a heightened sense of fear.
Explain why Latino men are going to Trump.
Democrats forget the promise when these guys are in the office in the Washington. The Latinos want
Can I be real? I think we're dedicating too much attention to calling people retarded if they're undocumented and they support Trump. What about all the women who voted for Trump? Like, I'm just saying we should spread it out fairly. Unless you're a cisgender white male making over $400,000 a year, you're objectively being harmed by this administration. And even then, you probably are too. So basically, I'm the only person here who can support Trump, and it would be a legitimate decision. But the rest of you, like, it's, you know, I'm just saying maybe be a little more misogynistic.
A better nation.
Espinosa believes some of the Latino support for Trump was a vote against the prospect
You are
of the
gay,
first
though?
black
Yeah, but
female
Trump's pretty
president.
gay, too, so.
There's still a lot of machismo. There's still a lot of misogyny. And something that we need to say aloud is there's a lot of anti-blackness.
Velasquez says he hopes Trump finds compassion for immigrant fathers like him who are not criminals.
If you get deported, would you regret your support to Donald Trump?
No me arrepentiría.
He's saying that he wouldn't regret supporting Donald Trump. So you're really not thinking about yourself. You're thinking about your children and the future of your children.
Yes, I want the better for my children.
Cesar says
The border czar that Donald Trump appointed on day one after the win literally said, like, even before the Trump won, he was saying in a 60 Minutes interview that he would denaturalize the children of undocumented immigrants and ship the entire families back home. Your kids are
he
getting
feels
sent with you,
guilty
man.
for bringing so much uncertainty to his family.
What's it like for you to see your wife go through this and the emotions that she's going through?
I apologize to her a lot. But we fell in love right away. And we got married
that's nice.
almost right away.
I think the point's
'Cause
been
when
made,
you know,
though.
you know.
The earliest deportations that we will see will be of criminals. Because you start with the easy ones, much in the same way that the first people that Hitler went after, well, he went after trade unionists and communists and so forth, but the very first people he went after were the militant ones, you know? Militant, Soviet-backed communists. So the you know, the police could say, look at this dangerous bust that we did. Look at these dangerous communists. They had guns, they had ammunition, they had food stockpiled. We don't want these people here anyway. We'll send them to the camps, you know? And then slowly over time, you publicize what you're doing less, and you go after a wider range of targets. You start with the thin edge of the thin end of the wedge, right? Like, we're going to be seeing news reports like, breaking news, this one single criminal from Venezuela has been apprehended and he is going to be sent back home where he belongs. And it's like, that's been happening every day for decades. That's normal. It's a big country. People get arrested. They sometimes get deported. This has all been happening. Millions of people were turned away under Joe Biden's single term. But they're going to publicize the hell out of it. And then over time, they'll get quieter, but the numbers are going to ramp up. Does that make sense? They're not going to publicize when they go after like a restaurant bust and they arrest like 400 just regular dudes who are undocumented as loudly. And then after that, when they're going like door to door, they're not going to publicize that at all.